Hello there, heathens. Casey, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, hey.
Hey.
So we're going to be going over a lot of stuff, mainly a law of the man, or the government, as we all know it now.
Government.
We're going to be talking about kings, how to select them, restrictions, a little bit of a side info about how that connects with Jesus and whatnot. It's quite interesting. And then how the kings serve under the law and, of course, respect your rulers like Donald Trump, that magnificent man. I'm joking. And then we got the judicial system.
Oh, God. I usually like puns. I don't know.
That covers the courts, fairness, justice, witnesses, like how many witnesses you need in order to beat the living shit out of somebody. And then, of course, you can't bury hang criminals. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You leave them out to rot like they should. I mean, that's just the proper way to use them.
No.
No? That's not?
No.
I did fairly well.
Yeah?
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing?
Hi, y'all.
Hey there, Casey.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I did fairly well today, but then again, my sugar kind of bombed out before I got here, so my energy's a little bit shot right now. But, I'm going to try to make this entertaining for y'all. Also informational because, I'm a mythicist. Leave all of your strokes down in the comments.
Why did you even bring that into it?
Well, it's interesting information. There's a lot of crosstalk between the Old Testament and the New Testament concerning Jesus.
All right, that's true.
It is.
All right, so are you ready?
Oh, my anus is prepared.
So we are going to be talking about the laws of government. See, normally the most important laws that you're going to deal with in any nation or country are the laws that provide the basis of government, right? But see, in a theocracy, which is super important to religious people, the ruler is God, and he determines the nation's laws. So for over 40 years, Moses has been the leader of the nation of Israel. And now Moses is gone, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the Holy Land, and they need a ruler. So God obviously laid out his rules for how that's going to work.
I mean, didn't previously Moses was like, I give up on this shit. And then he selected a whole bunch of tongue-speaking people to Horcrux God's spirit up into them?
Not exactly. He had helpers.
Okay.
They kind of established a justice not justice system, really, just more like people that helped him out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because, the nation of Israel's huge.
Right, and once you get to be so old, you can only masturbate so much. You got to get a helping hand.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay, so the first section we're going to talk about is in Deuteronomy, and this is about kings. So when you enter the land of the Lord your God is giving you, and you have taken possession of it and settled in it, and you say, let us set a king over us like all the nations around us. Be sure to appoint over you the king the Lord your God chooses. He must be from among your own brothers, so no alien kings, right? Mm-hmm. Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not a brother Israelite.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can't have any of them foreigners as a ruler now. Okay.
No, you got to have one of your own, which is interesting. There are a lot of countries now who, I think most, I don't know the laws of all the countries, obviously, but I think for the majority of them, the supreme leader of that country, president, whatever the title is in whatever country, has to be someone that's born there. It's that way in the United States too.
I like how you use the word supreme leader. Considering that Fox News just called Trump a dictator, I feel like it's fitting.
They actually apologized for that this morning. I don't know if you saw that.
Well, I saw it, but you can't take that back. Come on, seriously. You really can't.
It was pretty entertaining. So, kings, just so you know, can't just do anything.
Oh, what the fuck? What the point is it being king if you can't just do anything?
I don't know, but there are really important restrictions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hold on to your butts, people.
My anus is prepared yet again.
The king, moreover, must not acquire great numbers of horses for himself, or make the people return to Egypt to get more of them, for the Lord has told you, you are not to go back the way again. You must not. Oh, so let's deal with that first. Horses.
Can you just imagine they're sitting around making up these rules? It's like, well, what if he wants a whole bunch of horses? Well, let's just write that in there right now. My ass is not walking all the way back to fucking Egypt. He can just get off his high horse.
Yeah, so they must not acquire many horses.
See, I mean, can you imagine telling Trump that? He's like, I'll acquire as many horses as I want. Motherfuckers.
It seems like a very strange law.
It does.
Yeah. Also one that most like leaders following, like especially when you get to like the quote unquote the dark ages, the middle ages, right? Where they do own lots of horses.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you could kind of compare that to like the president or anybody in a government position really can't accept like large gifts or anything like that.
No, I mean, it's not large gifts. Like, to me, like, it would be like, Trump, you can't have more than X number of Humvees. I don't know. Like,
well, see, that's just it. I don't think that he personally has any, like, real material possessions, like, living at the White House. I mean,
well, so, no, it's not about what he owns. It's more about what the leader of the country has. Like, I don't know.
So, basically, Putin does not follow this. He has as many fucking horses as he wants because he's Putin. Also, he's got a bear.
He has a bear?
Oh, I'm sure he does. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But I mean, come on. You've seen the memes on the internet of him riding a fucking bear?
Yes, but that's memes on the internet.
Hey, you know what? 9 out of 10 memes are factual.
No. No. Okay, we're just going to move on to the next thing kings aren't allowed to do. Kings must not take many wives, or his heart will be led astray.
Didn't King Solomon have, like, I don't know, 500,000 wives or something like that?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know that.
Well, yeah,
500,000 wives?
Well, okay, I'm over-exaggerating the number of wives, but I mean, I'm fairly certain that later on, King Solomon, I believe it's King Solomon who has, like, a lot of wives.
Well, so I know what kings have done in the past is they have their wife, who is the queen, and then they have lots of concubines.
Oh, okay, maybe they're concubines. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's also a thing. Also, he must not accumulate large amounts of silver and gold, which is odd because usually the monarchy is the richest in the past, not anymore. Monarchy are the richest people that there are.
Right.
So I think that's interesting. Those are the 3 restrictions on the king that are apparently important enough to put in the Bible. Horses, wives, gold.
Not rape, mind you, or murder.
Anything else.
Or anything like that.
Anything else.
Just don't you fucking own a lot of goddamn horses, okay? If you own a lot of horses, we're sticking our feet up your ass.
Yeah. Okay. So when he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law taken from that of the priests who are Levites. And this is Deuteronomy chapter 17, in case anybody's wondering. It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and follow carefully all the words of this law and these decrees, and not consider himself better than his brothers.
Like, I mean, does he really need to read every single day? All right, I can't buy those 16 horses I really want to buy. God's going to be pissed off if I go on a spending spree with his plastic.
Well, so the idea is that the king of Israel and all of his descendants, so the king of Israel has, like, the heirs are his descendants, which is how monarchies work. So that's normal, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that the king would follow the laws that God set out, not necessarily make his own laws. He would follow God's laws.
Oh, okay.
Because the king is also the king isn't really the head of the church necessarily, because the kings don't have like priestly duties, but they are responsible for following the laws of the church.
Right. And I mean, we actually kind of see this now in modern society, because you got a lot of people who think that people need to believe in a God in order to be elected into office or anything like that. So, I mean, this right here still sets a precedent for a lot of people today.
Yep. Okay, so another thing that's addressed regarding rulers is in Exodus chapter 22, and it simply says, "Do not curse the ruler of your people." Now, this is to apply not only to kings of Israel, future kings, present kings, anything like that, any leaders at any lesser level. People are to show proper respect for God's chosen representatives.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, you can't question people that God have chosen.
True.
But of course, it's the people who say that God chose them. So
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay, so anything else about rulers or kings that you want to talk about?
Oh yes. So one part of the theology which you can find in Psalm 2, 6, and 7 is this idea that the kings, when they are sort of inducted into the kingship or whatever, they're made kings. What the fuck ever, okay? Whenever they're made kings, they are also made the son of God. They are considered the son of God. It's like God saying, "You are now my son." And so this whole idea of the ruler of the Israelite people or whatnot being the son of God was already pre-existent to Jesus.
That's interesting.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah, and it's I don't know how much you know about like histories of monarchs or the British monarch or anything like that, but the monarchs truly believed, like this is outside of Judaism, right? But monarchs believed that their bloodline was chosen by God. But when you have coronations of kings and queens, when you have a coronation of your ruler, it's very religious. And it is very apparent that they truly believe that they are chosen by God to fulfill this role. So my phone, Siri, she just dinged and she said, "I am not equipped to answer such questions." Just so y'all know, my phone is across the room laying on the edge of the couch on the charger with nobody around it. So yes, monarchy is chosen by God. That's what they think. That's how they rule. It's very interesting. All right. You ready to move on to the judicial system?
Ooh, the judicial system.
Yes. So the judicial system up until now has been run by Moses. Well, at the suggestion of his father-in-law, Jethro. You remember Jethro?
Jethro. Gotta love some Jethro.
Well, he suggested that Moses get some basically like helper judges that would help him rule over tribes and families, but the only responsibility that they kind of retained was to help judge over, basic stuff, to take some of the pressure off Moses, and then Moses would decide more difficult cases.
Oh, you mean kind of like when he told everybody to go into that one village and like kill every fucking body?
Yeah, I'd imagine that a regular judge wouldn't have that kind of authority. In Deuteronomy chapter 16, we talk about appointing judges. Appointing judges and officials for each of your tribes in every town the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall judge the people fairly. If cases come before your courts that are too difficult for you to judge, whether bloodshed lawsuits or assaults, take them to the place the Lord your God will choose. Go to the priests, who are the Levites, and to the judges, and to the judge who is in office at the time. Inquire of them, and they will give you the verdict. All right. You must act according to the decisions they give you at the place the Lord will choose. Be careful to do everything they direct you to do. Act accordingly to the law they teach you and the decisions they give you. Do not turn aside from what they tell you to the right or to the left, because I feel like we're doing the cha-cha slide here. The man who shows contempt for the judge or for the priest who stands ministering there to the Lord your God must be put to death. So contempt of court is now like you go to jail, you get bailed out, right? Or you get fined or whatever. So that's contempt of court now. Contempt of court in Israel, death. You must purge the evil from Israel. All people will hear and be afraid and will not be contemptuous again. So there you go.
They won't hold any kind of contempt. I don't know if it really has that much power over people's, feelings and opinions.
That's not what that means.
Oh, what does it mean?
Contempt of court, where you show contempt to a judge.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about a judicial system. We're not talking about holding feelings of contempt. We're talking about,
being a dick to the judge.
yes, contempt of court, because we're talking about the judicial system.
Oh, I understand now.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to look into it, there's some more stuff about leaders as judges, like the leaders deciding cases and things like that. And that's in Deuteronomy chapter 1. But you want to move on to fairness and justice?
Definitely.
We're going to talk about what's fair according to the Bible. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
These come from, the different ones we're going to talk about come from Exodus, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. Bribes. Mm-hmm. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds those who see and twists the words of the righteous. No bribing.
No bribing.
Yeah, I don't know. I bribe Xander with sugar-free Klondike bars so that he won't whine or have shit fits.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird because, I mean, you know, with most people in office believing in God, and then you obviously have like bribing scandals.
Yeah.
Kind of seems.
Well, I mean, bribery is against the law, though.
True. But you would think that as Christians, they'd be like, nope, I'm solidified by Christ against bribery.
All right, the next thing is partiality, right?
Okay.
Do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. This is some shit, and none of them fucking do this.
Does that mean that like the little porns that take place inside of a courtroom, does that make them doubly sinful?
What?
Don't pervert.
This is about fairness and justice. We're not even talking about courts right now. But I see where your mind is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, justice for the disadvantaged. Do not deprive the alien or the fatherless of justice.
Yeah, all you fuckers out there that want to deny Xenu justice, get the fuck back, okay?
Or take the cloak of the widow as a pledge. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. This is why I command you do this. So don't take advantage of the disadvantaged.
Oh, well, what? I mean, that's what politicians do all the time.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Okay, and then the importance of justice. This is why justice is important. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is one of the big things.
Okay.
Do not pervert justice or show partiality. Do not accept a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land your Lord God is giving you.
Oh, okay, so be like follow along with justice because we'll get land afterwards?
No, you already have the land.
Oh, okay, so you can keep the land.
Yeah, what? It's just it's the everything that God has given you. They say the land because it's the Holy Land.
Right.
But like, yeah, you can't live. Remember, if you do these things, you get cast out or killed. So you have to follow these in order to stay in the community.
It's just a kind of a weird way to put it.
Yeah, well, it's the Bible. It's terribly written. All right, you ready to move on?
Yes.
Witnesses. Okay, so the truthfulness of people who testify against others is central to honesty and justice, and it is required as one of the 10 basic commandments, right?
Okay.
Okay, so perjury is prohibited. This is in Deuteronomy. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor.
Yeah, that's one of the 10 commandments, right?
Mm-hmm. Exodus. Do not spread false reports. Do not help a wicked man by being a malicious witness. Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd. So basically, if everybody jumps off a bridge, don't do it, kind of deal.
Yeah, but I mean, in the current political climate, this is all very revealing.
Yeah.
About how actually non-Christian a lot of these politicians are.
Yeah.
If they were real Christians, they wouldn't support Trump because he's just bullshittery.
Well, so it's not about being real Christians. It's about being good Christians, right? Following the scripture, how the scripture is written. But a lot of Christians will argue that the Old Testament does not matter. So...
I mean, I guess I've heard it both ways. I mean, Christians will say they're not real Christians, and then, you know, we got to correct them with, well, no, they are real Christians. They're just, I guess, dumb Christians.
Not necessarily dumb. They just do what works for them and don't do what doesn't work for them or whatever. And, you know, cherry picking. That's what they do best.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So they're false charges. right? Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or an honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty. Okay, so that means no guilty person will ever go free according to God.
Mm-hmm.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Also, innocent people are convicted wrongfully. Not all the time, but it happens.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So there are penalties for false charges. You ready?
Uh-oh.
If a malicious witness takes the stand to accuse a man of a crime, the two men involved in the dispute must stand in the presence of the Lord before the priests and the judges who are in office at the time. The judges must make a thorough investigation, and if the witness proves to be a liar, giving false testimony against his brother, then do to him as he intended to do to his brother. You must purge the evil from among you. That means they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
In case any of you didn't get that.
They will fuck him up.
Hooded language. The rest of the people will hear this and be afraid, and never again will such an evil thing be done among you. Show no pity. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's also important that you understand that one witness to a crime is not enough.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one witness?
Nope. One witness is not enough to convict a man accused of any crime or offense he may have committed. A matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. So if it's just like 2 people alone, they can't be convicted, because it's kind of like turns into a he said, she said kind of deal.
Yeah, this sounds a lot like the Middle East with their Sharia law.
Yeah.
Yeah, because,
well, I mean to be fair, the Old Testament, the scriptures from the Old Testament are widely shared.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to blatantly point it out here that this is very similar to Sharia law. And, I mean, this is the Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible uses Sharia law, guys.
Okay. You ready for the last section here?
Yep.
On punishment. Okay, so personal responsibility. Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor children put to death for their fathers. Each is to die for his own sin, which is really interesting because what we've spent the last few weeks talking about is that the generations you will live with your father's sin for 10 generations or however many generations or forever. So it's interesting that you can't be put to death for it, but you're going to live with it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got to have someone to shit on in the society. Otherwise, people will start shitting on each other for no reason.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's just how stuff works, honey. I mean,
Okay.
wouldn't expect you to understand.
Oh, okay, because I'm a whammon.
Whammon.
Yeah. All right. Did you know that there are limits to beatings?
No, I thought that you could just beat however long you wanted.
Are we still talking about like punishment beatings, or are we talking about
punishment beatings?
Yeah.
I still thought that you could just beat the shit out of everybody for whatever reason.
When men have a dispute, they are to take it to the court, and the judges will decide the case, acquitting the innocent and condemning the guilty. If the guilty man deserves to be beaten, the judge shall make him lie down and have him flogged in his presence with the number of lashes his crime deserves. But he must not give him more than 40 lashes. If he is flogged more than that, your brother will be degraded in your eyes.
Oh, degraded? Is that the new word for fucking dead?
So yeah, 40 lashes is the maximum number of lashes.
Listen, son, don't make me degrade you in front of everybody, okay?
Yeah, well, so this is interesting because this is kind of the framework for the whole idea of let the punishment fit the crime.
Oh, okay.
Which we have in our current society.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some would argue that we don't have that in our society because a lot of our sentencing's fucked up, let's be honest.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing is burying a hanged criminal, all right?
Okay.
If a man guilty of a capital offense is put to death and his body is hung up on a tree, you must not leave his body on the tree overnight. Be sure to bury him that same day, because anyone who is hung on a tree is under God's curse. You must not desecrate the land the Lord your God is giving giving you as an inheritance. So the body's cursed. So you don't want to leave it hanging on a tree. You're going to bury it in the ground.
Right.
Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as like preventing the curse because it's buried in the ground. But whatever.
You just got to make sure not to step on that particular grave or you're going to get dick rot.
All right. You ready to talk a little bit about next time?
Ooh, yes. What's going to be happening next time?
Next time, we're going to talk about laws for special crimes. And do you want to know what special crimes are?
Is that, I don't know what.
Crimes against the person. So, homicide.
Oh.
Different kinds of murder. Premeditated murder, intentional murder, murder by instrument, no ransom for murder, all kinds of things.
Murder by instrument.
That's what it is.
Excuse me, how did Joe die? Oh, I killed him with my dick.
We're going to talk about crime prevention and reasons for the death penalty. We're also going to talk about feticide and miscarriages and harm to mothers.
That's killing the fetus while it's still inside. That's punching a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Yes, essentially it is. We're going to talk about kidnapping. My favorite, mayhem.
Ooh, mayhem.
Yes, I cannot wait to talk about mayhem. One of the things of mayhem is disfigurement and maiming. So this will be fun. We're also going to talk about rape, and then we're going to talk about assault.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. All right. So, guys, we will assault you next time.
What? Oh, God. But hold on. I have to. Can I give him a sneak peek?
Okay.
What's this called? A spoiler? Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. One of the things we're going to talk about next week is in the assault section is interference by a woman. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant and she reaches out and seizes him by his private parts, you shall cut off her hand. Show no pity.
No pity will be shown to the harlot.
I love that. She's like trying to stop them from fighting, accidentally makes some hand-to-dick contact, and it's like chop off the bitch's hand. It's over.
Well, honestly, think about it. When was the last time you've seen a fight between two guys and the guy's girl just runs up and grabs the other guy's dick? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
I have never seen that, but that would be hilarious. So the last thing we're going to talk about next week is crimes against property.
That's why it's the women. Okay.
No.
Guys, in the comments, I would love to know exactly how many lashes would you give Christians for the bullshit they pull with us every single day. Let us know in the comments below.
I think it depends on the person. Like the guy today, maximum number of lashes.
So 40?
40 lashes to the guy with the stupid ass bandana who can't read.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
So that's KC's. I will leave mine in the comments below, and I hope that you will too.
Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.